Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Joey Powell, and this is InsideCarolina.com's postgame podcast, brought to you by a Johnny T-shirt. Johnny T-shirt is your place for gear. Hit them up. Go ahead and get your Johnny T-shirt UNC towel because you can use it to wipe away the tears after the Tar Heels fall tonight. We're big fans of Johnny T-shirt. Check them out. Inside Carolina premium subscribers get that extra 10% off your order if you use the code found on the premium message boards. All right. As I said, I am Joey Powell. Post-game podcast going to bring in Sherrell McMillan to talk about the Tar Heels' loss tonight at home in Chapel Hill, 76-67. And what is statistically, if you just look at Pittsburgh's net ranking, UNC's worst loss in 14 years. Sherrell, not a lot of good things to talk about. I'll go ahead and ask it now. Did the UNC's postseason NCAA tournament hopes end tonight in the Smith Center?
Functionally, I would say yes. Technically, I would say no. They still have a couple of opportunities to play on the road and a chance to, win the ACC tournament and find a way to do that. But if we're being realistic, I don't think it really matters because this team has shown over the course of the season that you can't trust it. I think this is the first bad loss they've had, and I want to clarify what I mean by bad loss in that they're losing to a team who either isn't as talented as they are or not playing as well as they had been. The other losses were against teams who were playing well or were really talented. We talk about Kentucky and Tennessee and Duke and some of the others. This is a Pitt team that, they beat NC State and they beat Florida State. Not exactly world beaters. They won 10 games overall, had been struggling throughout the ACC for most of the season. Jeff Capel's on the hottest of hot seats. And they just came into the Smith Center and just smacked Carolina. But before you knew it, they were down by 17. And it just goes to show, after Saturday, you're thinking, okay, they won a tough game on the road last week, and then they came back home and destroyed Florida State. Maybe they can get something going. And every time it feels like, hey, they might get something going, they just come out sleepy and are down 17. And the furious comebacks, honestly, to me, are more of an indictment than a positive for this particular team, because the playing, excellent defense and with your hair on fire and all that stuff, why does it take getting down 20 or 25 or 21 against a team that's just not as good as you are for you to finally decide to play like it means something? So, we thought maybe some of that sleepiness had gone, but it's still there. And I just don't think you can trust this team to do really anything of consequence moving forward, even if they do find a way to make the NCAA tournament. The question is, does it really matter?
It would probably be a quick exit either way. And I appreciate your honesty. I don't think it's being mean. I don't think it's saying anything negative. I don't think that that you're doing anything other than calling it as you see it. And the Tar Heels have proven again and again that, save for two or three exceptions, they have the affinity to come out lazily. And I think we saw that tonight. They looked so bad in the first half. And then I think some calls started going their way, and they just weren't able to rally against that. You said before on the Coast to Coast just that, this team is who this team is. Um, is there anything positive to take from this game? I'm with you. I don't like taking the I don't think taking that comeback is something to be happy with, because the flip side of it is you got yourself in a 21-point hole against a bad team. Is there anything positive to take from this at all? Maybe Kerwin Walton's reemergence. Maybe that Dontrez Styles got more positive minutes in the first half. What do you think something positive from this game is if you really, really dug your teeth into it?
Yeah, I think the individual performance of Walton would be one example. But it's hard to focus on an individual when this kind of they're just stuck in this cycle of over and over again. How many times have me and you, Joey, said on various podcasts or Inside Carolina platforms that, oh man, they got to look in the mirror? And it's like, okay, you've looked in the mirror 8 times. And I think after the Duke game, we said, oh, you looked in the mirror 7 times. Like it just kind of is what it is at this point. I don't mean to sound glib. I don't mean to sound, just without analysis, but this team's variance, as we've talked about the entire season, is just so incredible that there's no way to predict what you're going to get. We asked all the time, what is something that this team does that they're going to do consistently every single game? And I still don't think there's one particular thing that they're going to be able to do consistently every single game. And you're 26 games left, 26 games in, 5 games left in the regular season. And that's just not a good place to be in.
No, I would agree with that. Okay, so Saturday now is, you could argue that it's more important. You could argue that it doesn't matter now. Saturday at Virginia Tech, what can you expect? Virginia Tech has absolutely been playing a lot better as of late. Keve Aluma, great player. I think Justin Mutz has been playing really well, even though Brady Manick did a good job of holding him in check in the game in the Smith Center. Knowing what we know about this erratic group of Tar Heels, is it even worth trying to predict what you might see on Saturday?
No, it's not. It's completely pointless. I mean, if you're trying to predict, the most likely thing based upon what this team has done is that they lose by 25. Because when they play good teams on the road, that's what happens. So I wouldn't try to predict anything with that game. I will say Pittsburgh, one of the worst shooting teams in the ACC, was 10 of 17 from three. That's 58%. And if you play similar defense against Virginia Tech, they'll lose by 30 because Virginia Tech can shoot. They're one of the best shooting teams in the country. And then the matchups can be an issue for UNC. It's just it is mind-boggling to think that the same team that blitzed Florida State, even though they had a leaky second half, kind of a not great second half, that same team was the same team that was on the court tonight. It's hard to believe, man, because it's just so different between the two examples of what they put out there. So I mean, I'm struggling a little bit, kind of lost for words because just did not expect this. You think that maybe they would have struggled a little bit, but you think they would have found a way somehow to win a game like this that they know they have to win. They've been in the NCAA tournament functionally for about 2 weeks now, where if you lose, your chances of even getting to the tournament go down considerably. And to lose to Pittsburgh, a Q4 team at home, it's only the third time they lost at home since the beginning of the 2020 season. All three happens to be against former Duke players, by the way.
Why you got to go there?
But it's insane, man. I have no words for this. It really is remarkable how this team can be so up and down.
Yeah. Not expecting a ton of folks to listen to this pod tonight just because bad mood, bad situation, just bad result for the Tar Heels, and Inside Carolina subscribers probably won't like that. So apologize for the lack of analysis on our part tonight, but just know that the frustration is not lost on Sherrell and myself.
And the other thing I'll say too, Joe, you talked about Virginia Tech. So let's play this out. So they do go up and somehow find a way to win in Castle Coliseum, right? They beat Virginia Tech. Well, who's to say Louisville won't come into the Smith Center on Monday and beat them there?
And punk them on Monday, yeah.
And I mean, because Louisville was right there with UNC when they played at Louisville. People will say, well, Louisville's cleared on the season. We'll see on Monday. And then say they are somehow able to beat Virginia Tech and somehow able to beat Louisville. Then you got to go to Raleigh against the team that hates you more than anything in this world and try to win there. So I think this team has done a great job. We talk about in football, especially validating wins. This team has done a very good job of invalidating everything they do that's positive, because it really is, one step forward, 2 steps back with this team, it feels like. And that's been consistent since the season started. Started 3-0, lose a close one to Purdue, and then get blown out by Tennessee, have a close one against a team I can't even remember, go on a little bit of a run, get blown out by Kentucky, and just on and on. The wheel's just going round and round, and it's just not going to change. So I don't mean to sound overly negative, but I just don't know what else there is to see with this team. You just don't know what you're going to get. So, hey, maybe they go out and win 5 straight games and make it to the NCAA tournament and do something. But I think the more likely scenario is that this team, for whatever reason, it just never gelled, and this core group never gelled, and it just didn't finish the way it wanted to. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is we'll see what happens, but expectations have gone from slim to none.
Yeah, and we will do some more in-depth analysis on the Coast to Coast with you and Sean Moran later this week after the Virginia Tech game. We'll do that on Sunday night. But
let me add one more thing too. A little bit of a quasi-analysis, but it was fascinating to me in the second half, and me and you were kind of chatting about it a little bit offline. They had 12 stops in Pittsburgh's first 16 offensive possessions in the second half.
Yeah.
Good defense.
Sure. Whatever.
And the lead increased by 1 over that span. So that tells me the first half may have been about the defense a little bit, but the second half, the first 12 minutes of the second half worry about the offense. They just could not find looks. The guard struggled shooting for most of the part. Manic struggled shooting from three. Leaky was the most consistent offensive player throughout the game. And then Kerwin Walton came in towards the end when they had a chance, down 6 with a chance, the ball was in their hands with a chance to cut it to 4 or even 3. But the offense that is just really surprising to me, that they weren't able to convert more on offense. And give Pittsburgh credit. They bullied UNC throughout the game. They played very physical, very, very physical, maybe too physical at times, but you have to meet the challenge when someone, plays physically against you like that, and UNC just didn't do it.
Well, and that's been the knock on this program for a couple of years from those on the outside, is that if you body UNC up, if you get physical with them, they'll fold. And I think you saw that a little bit tonight. They got hit in the mouth and never really decided to do anything until it was too late. But Sherrell, I appreciate it. Sorry to put you on the spot. You and I can both be angry with Tommy Ashley for leaving us to do this here game tonight, because man, there were very many times that you'd like to just disconnect and go do something else. There was a hockey game I could have been watching, but hey, we appreciate you sticking out with me. We will be back. I will be back on Saturday after the Virginia Tech game for another post-game podcast. Hope it's a little less melancholy than what we're having to deal with right now. But man, Sherrell McMillan, appreciate you making some time for us. Tar Heels fall at home to a very, very lowly Pittsburgh team, 76-67. What does it mean? We'll have to wait and see. But this has been another episode of the Inside Carolina post-game podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.